guys, welcome to Super Bale Sews. My name's Sarah. Thanks for joining me today. I have a bit of a catch-up video for you today. I know I did an autumn plans video last week, and in that typical way, some things have sort of come up that have slightly changed the order. So I thought I'd let you know what I've done so far, what's coming up this week, and then a couple of sort of new plans that are coming into the mix. So first up, what have I been making? So out of the plans that I mentioned to you last week, I have finished one of them, which was the gathered skirt. So this is a self-drafted pattern. It's super easy. I initially made it using this Fabric Godmother viscose celestial print, which seems to be doing the rounds again. Seems to be quite popular. But I bought it last year, and I cut four rectangular panels that were the full width of the fabric. And then I made a flat front waistband that was interfaced, and an elastic back waistband with thick elastic in it. I think the flat front waistband, rather than having the whole lot as elastic, which also works, but I think the flat front just looks a little bit more neat. And makes it look a bit more formal and structured. So that's why I go with that rather than just elasticating the whole waist, which also works and will get a nice fit. So either or works great. But the only difference with this skirt that I've made is that instead of doing 4 panels, I did 3 panels. So the result of this is that the skirt is a bit longer and also that it is a bit less full. So I'm going to put a picture of both so you can see them to compare. So basically they use the same technique. The first one, so this one, was the 4 panels. And then the one that I wore today is this one. This is with 3 panels. So again, each panel was the full width of the fabric. And I basically, with this one, it was also a bit different. The print on the celestial viscose, both of them are Fabric Godmother prints, by the way, but the celestial print is a little bit more abstract in terms of placement. So I literally just split the amount of fabric I had. I took off what I needed for the waistband, and then I split the remaining amount into 4 equal lengths. That was that easy peasy. Now with this tiled fabric that I spoke about in the last video, it's sort of not that simple because it had such large scale, like tile floral printed patterns that I did need to think about the placement. And as such, I settled on this so that you get the whole of one tile and then the top half of another tile. All of the panels should line up the whole way round. I haven't taken formal pictures. The picture I showed you was just a picture when I was out for lunch today. I don't know about you, but I'm finding it much more difficult now to get pictures of things because it's light for such less time. So it's like when you come back from work or when you go to work, there's not really any light to take decent pictures with. So, yeah. So I'm really pleased with it actually. And I think it works nicely. I think there's enough fullness with the 3 panels. And I definitely am happy to wear it for work. I think obviously the print is a little bit more bold. The celestial print is a bit more subtle, maybe, and it's less colourful, all of this. But yeah, it was a quick, easy sew, very easy to wear, and generally I'm pretty chuffed with that. So that was good. The other thing I'll say that I did mention in the last video, the tiled floral vase print fabric is an older Fabric Godmother exclusive print. And it's currently in the sales section of their website in 3 colourways. Now I have one of the other colourways. So this is the navy. I have it in mustard. I'm sure it was there in another colourway. It might have been like a cream or it might have been something else. I can't remember, but it's only $7.98 a metre. And it's just a really lush fabric. It's very smooth, pretty easy to work with. The print's fun, and it has these lurex threads running all the way through it. So there's sort of a hint of festiveness without being too on the nose. So that one's finished, which is great. Now I've cut out another project that I mentioned in my video, which is the jumper. So this is leftover fabric. So this is the, Italian knit. Now, what I didn't mention, it's got thread all over it. Oops. What I didn't mention last time with this one is I think it's actually made from, I think it's reclaimed wool or something it's called. So it's a very sort of sustainable choice. Again, really easy to work with. It hasn't, with some of these knit fabrics, they sort of unravel when you cut them out, but this one hasn't. The edges have held really nicely. And I think it's going to make a really cozy sweater. So that's going to be a toaster sweater, basically exactly the same as this one that I've got on, which is in a fisherman chunky knit. And we have the double depth here of the turtleneck, because I just thought it's a bit more cozy. And that's a really quick sew. So I'm hoping to get that done this week. Now, the two things that have slipped in that were initially not planned were, I have a photo shoot on Friday. It's for like a smaller indie brand. And I'm really flattered. They contacted me. It's really lovely. And it made me sort of aware. I didn't know they did inclusive sizing. I think it's a fairly new thing for them. So I'm really excited to meet them and do this shoot. But it requires, I won't go into details yet until because I don't know when they want to release what's what. But they've asked me to bring a couple of base layers. And I have been wanting to make some base layers anyway, just because they're useful as it's getting colder. It's good to have things that you can layer, that you can put under a dress that's maybe not otherwise weather appropriate. So I've just expedited those plans, and they're really quick things to sew. So for both of them, I'm using the Billy pattern. The only thing I play around with is the length. So I've made them slightly more cropped than the normal Billy sweater. And that's just because they're to go under other things, and I don't think I need the extra bulk. And I've used two different types of sleeves. So all of you will know the Billy sweater pattern. It's Tilly in the Buttons pattern. It comes with a dress option or just a normal sweatshirt option. And it comes with two sleeve options, so a straight sleeve or a sort of balloon sleeve. So one of the tops I'm making is just going to be really simple. It's out of this fabric, which is just a nice jersey from First for Fabrics. And this will have the straight sleeves, and I've cropped them short, so it'll be more just like a t-shirt. And then I am using this stretch velvet, which is also from First for Fabrics, to make it's also a Billy, but it's got the puff sleeves, but I've shortened them, and they're going to be more like a puff sleeve. So the Billy puff sleeves are still sweatshirt sleeves. So they have like a sweater cuff. But these are going to be shorter and more like a traditional puff sleeve, just with an elasticated closure at the probably elbow or just above the elbow. So these are both things. I have, what is that pattern that I made? Friday Pattern Company Adrienne blouse, which is a nice sort of stretch fabric, very simple blouse with big sleeves, by Friday Pattern Company, as I said. I made that in stretch velvet last year, which I love, but it's quite low in the neck. So it has this sort of straight across, and then you've got the elasticated sleeves on your shoulders, and it's straight across at the back as well, which looks great. But actually, obviously, in the cold weather, it's just a bit too much skin on display. So I wanted to have things that had a higher neck so that I get a bit more wear out of them. So those are cut out as well. So I've got my toaster and those two cut out, which I'm hoping to sew up really quickly this week before the photo shoot on Friday. Now I'm going to put in here, the photo shoot is paid, even though I'm not advertising obviously what it's for right now. And the reason I'm saying that is because there was a bit of an incident a year and a bit ago when I worked with a brand, and I did a photo shoot with a brand, and another Instagram sewing person who's a sort of a plus size sewist had been approached by them as well. And then on the day that they realised the photo shoot was going on, they put a thing out on Instagram saying, they didn't name me and they didn't name the brand, but they basically made it very obvious that, and they implied that I had agreed to work for free, which meant they hadn't gone with her because she had wanted to be paid. And this wasn't true. Like, they approached me and straight away in the first email, they asked what my fee would be. Like, I'm self-employed anyway. I value my time and I understand how it works. Like, I don't do this, like, in terms of photo shoots and things, especially when you have to take time out of your day and you have to, I have to miss work to do these things. Your time is valuable, and especially if the brands are going to make, if it's for charity or whatever, it's a bit different, or if it's for your mate. But it's like, if it's for a brand and they're going to be making money, then you should be paid for what you offer, right? So, anyway, so I felt like I was put a bit on blast incorrectly because I was paid well for that contract. And I contacted her and explained. I was like, look, I was paid. I don't know what's gone on. Your following's much bigger than mine, so I don't know why they didn't just go with you over me. But like, I haven't done anything. They paid me. Yeah, so I don't want it sort of implied that I haven't. So anyway, now I try and make it clear that I'm not working for brands for free for that reason. So if you're wondering why I'm mentioning that, it's just because I want to cover my back. I think it's important. I had a gig yesterday, like a singing gig. It's actually not dissimilar. I think in creative industries, like people can be really undervalued in creative industries. And I get it, because musicians are undervalued all the time. People want you to do your job for free. And so I get it. But it was just in that instance, it wasn't true. So now I just feel like I want to be very transparent that all the modeling stuff I've done has been paid, all of it. Obviously, when brands send you stuff, I'm not paid for that. It's like they send you it, and that's sort of the payment, is that you get this lovely thing. But yeah, I just want to be clear on that. And also then that, I give you honest opinions anyway, but obviously when you're working with brands, whether they're giving you stuff or paying you, it's like there's, you build a relationship with them, and that means, I guess, you're less likely to just completely slag them off. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, I'm just rambling as usual. So that is that. So those are the things I've cut out. Those are the things I'm planning on working on this week, and why the priorities have changed a bit. Now, 3 other things to update you on, and then I'm going to leave you to it. So first up is the Nova coat. So I've talked to you about that a few times. I've been gifted this gorgeous spoiled wool in a sort of burgundy Bordeaux colour. And I have some nice lining fabric planned. And the coating was given to me by Minerva as part of the brand ambassador program. And I've been planning to make the paper cut patterns Nova coat. And I received a message from the gorgeous Ruan from the Yorkshire Sew Girl. And she's also planning on making the paper cut patterns Nova coat. And we sort of thought we could maybe encourage each other to get on with it, which is a great idea. So I don't know, we sort of had a rough deadline, and then a couple of other things came up, so it's slightly moved back. So we've got a flexible deadline at the moment, but at some point in the next few weeks, we will be hopefully both able to share with you our experience with the Nova coats. Obviously, I think we have quite similar tastes in terms of, like, we both quite like colours and stuff like that. But obviously we're making it different size ranges. I've made it before, but it was a few years ago. I think we'll both have sort of, hopefully, something interesting to say about it, and some nice coats to show you at the end. So just watch out, because that is now a collab with Ruan. How great. So I'll let you know when, obviously, I'll post my video. Most of you will follow her anyway, I suspect. But I will obviously let you know when her video's up as well, and you can compare the two. So something that's been bumped up the agenda. When I said to you in the last video I don't have any events to go to, I sort of lied. It's not a Christmas party. I'm not really going to any fancy Christmas parties. I have a lot of carol services, as I've said to you previously, like an obscene amount of carol services in like a 2-week period. It's too much. But I also have a christening. So my 3rd goddaughter, it's her christening, and that's at the start of December. And so this is a plan that I have to really get a move on with. So I'd already spoken to you about the fabric godmother peony dress. I have been a bit nervous about this because I think the bodice fitting is going to be quite complicated. Already when I looked at the size chart, what I would be doing is picking a bodice size, doing a full bust adjustment, grading up at the waist, grading back down at the hips. So even from the get-go, it's a lot of adjustments. So I'm going to need to toile it, because that's just like a lot to do. Be very lucky if I just did it like that and it fitted. So I'm not going to do the whole dress. I'm just going to twirl the bodice. And then my plan is to make it up in this fabric. It's another fabric, Godmother one. I'm very unoriginal. But what I love about this is it's sort of Christmassy, but not Christmassy. So it's obviously the green is what makes it Christmassy, and it's got that, this sort of viscose jacquard. So it's got a bit of a sheen, but it's not overtly festive. So I could wear it, I think, like throughout autumn, winter, and it would not offend everybody I saw, hopefully. Now, I'm heavily inspired here by Carly Davies, who is on Instagram. I don't think she's on YouTube, but she made it was not the peony dress, but it's a very similar silhouette, which is, it's the Liberty, there's like a Liberty pattern that has a very similar bodice and sleeve. It has a little like neck ruffle, which I don't think the peony dress has, but so it's slightly different, but it's a similar shape. And it's a lovely pattern. It's not size inclusive, so I can't make that. But seeing her version of it, which was so gorgeous, I think I will put her handle for Instagram down below, but I think it's C Davis. I'm going to say 125. I'll put it down below. Just check if you want to look. But she made this gorgeous dress, and I'm basically copying her. Yeah, it's just too nice. And every time I look back at that picture, I'm like, no, I need to copy that. So sorry, Carly, but also thank you. Thank you. Because I think I was a bit apprehensive initially as to whether the pattern and the fabric, because it's a bit heavier than I thought, the fabric. But seeing her version, I thought it just looked lush and really luxe and like, oh, gorgeous. So I'm hoping I can get that done in time. It's about 3 weeks. Hopefully I can get it done. I'm going to try and twirl the bodice this week, hopefully anyway, and then we'll see. How many times can I say hopefully? Who knows? That shows you that I may be lacking a little confidence on it, but I'm going to try and get it done, okay? So that's moved on up the priority list. My needle cord dress, I really need to get on with as well. I've been what I'm struggling with at the moment is having space to cut out. So we're all crammed into this house at the moment. We are staying with my parents whilst we're having work done in our house. It's dragging on and on and on. And I'm just struggling to find space to cut out bigger projects. So a few of the bigger things I've been waiting to sort of get some space so I can actually get on with it. Now, this is a plan I mentioned, but the fabric has turned up and it's not going to work for what I planned. So I need some ideas. I mentioned to you, so another Minerva project that I was planning was to make, why hasn't it? The Portia dress by Sew Over It, which is a lovely stretch pattern. It's got the sort of knot front. I have a much loved dress that it's sort of a reminiscent silhouette of. So I was really looking forward to making a velvet Christmas version with this stretch velvet that I ordered from Minerva as part of the brand ambassador program. So it's here. I think the colorway is petrol. And the thing I love about this, it's actually a matte velvet. So, you know, you get velvet sometimes, like even the purple, if I can show you that again, the purple velvet that I used before, it has, I don't know how well you can see, but it has a sort of like a sheen. It's like a bit shiny. And this one doesn't have the sheen. It's like matte. It's really gorgeous quality, actually. But it's listed as stretch and it has basically no stretch. And I went back and looked and it's supposed to have just 10% stretch, so not very much. So I should have read the thing. So it stretches a bit that way and it stretches like not really much that way. But it's got a tiny bit of stretch, but I would not treat this as a stretch fabric. Just feeling it, I think it's going to behave more like a woven, and therefore it is not going to work for the Portia dress. So, but I mean, it is gorgeous, so I'm excited to use it for something, but I obviously had a project planned for it, and now it's not going to be quite right for that project. So, what do I do, guys? It's a velvet, which obviously means it feels a bit festive, but it's not in an obviously Christmassy colour. So I can probably get away with wearing it, you know, after Christmas and through the sort of colder months. Something that's coming to mind and something that I've seen a lot of on the high street are these sort of suits, like velvet suits. I don't know if I have enough to make a full suit. So maybe a blazer. Now, I've only made one blazer before. It was the heather blazer. A lot of blazers, I think, don't suit my proportions. I'm like broad up here because of my chest. And I don't know, a lot of them are quite boxy and I just feel like it's not a great shape. But then I do love the look on other people. So could I balance it with the rest of the outfit? Dunno. So I can either make like quite a solid blazer, or I can make one that's, you know, and it's got a bit more of a soft silhouette where it's got a tie belt. I don't know what pattern I would use for that. There is a free pattern that I used in my frugal. Oh, what's that frugal? So frugal. Yeah, that I found on Mood Fabrics, I believe, which is, I just think it was meant for a lighter fabric, but I might have a look at that because this doesn't have, it drapes a bit, but it's not super drapey. So, so do I make a blazer? Do I just make some trousers? I'm absolutely terrified of trousers, not gonna lie. Getting the seat and the tummy to sort of fit properly on anything other than really loose trousers, it's just a big job for me to work it out, and I just don't know if I have the drive at the moment. Yeah, or I mean, I could make, if I like the peony dress, maybe I can make the peony dress in this velvet. I don't know. So if you have any ideas for a velvet, it just isn't, it's not super heavyweight or anything. So it's like, I would say a medium weight velvet. It just isn't really stretchy. It's got the tiniest amount of stretch, but it's not really stretchy. So hit me up if you have any ideas. I want something sort of wearable, which is why I think a blazer is quite good because you can just chuck it on over lots of things. Or a velvet dress is nice, isn't it? I don't know. Let me know what you think. If you have ideas for this beautiful petrol coloured velvet, I mean, that is lush, isn't it? I do think, wouldn't that look nice in a big sleeve? Maybe I'm just obsessed with big sleeves. Maybe I have enough. Maybe I just need a normal size sleeve in my life. I don't know. Anyway, as I said, I love the fabric. The quality is lush, but it just isn't going to work for my plans originally. So if you have any ideas, please put them in the box below. That is going to be it from me for today. I'm hoping I'll have some of those tops sewn up, and I will have the bodice. Well, the top, I won't have a Friday sews this week because I'm going to be on this photo shoot, and I'm working on the Thursday. I think I start teaching at 8 a.m. and then I work all day, and I don't finish. My choir rehearsal finishes at 10 p.m. So it's a 14-hour working day. So I'm not going to have time then. And on Wednesday, we've got something going on with Nala and the vets on my morning off. So I'm just going to be working a lot this week. So I've just got some quick sewing projects that I'm hoping to get done by Friday. But I think anything else major will be the week after. So I probably won't update you this week, but I'll look to update you next week. And hopefully we'll have some good news for you. Fingers crossed. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you're having a great week. I hope you're staying warm in this cold weather and sewing up some nice cozy or Christmassy sparkly things to wear. And thanks for tuning in, and I will see you soon. All right.